Hey guys, what's up? It's Debbie, and I fell down another rabbit hole. I wanted to share this with you because when I was doing the Unabomber episode, I learned that LSD was made from a fungus called ergot. And I knew what it was, but I didn't know that's where LSD came from. So I did my MK Ultra episode as a rabbit hole off of the Unabomber one. But now I'm doing an ergot rabbit hole off of the MK Ultra one. So it just keeps on going. And this being spooky season, this one is absolutely perfect. Werewolves. You've heard of witch trials, right? Did you know there were also werewolf trials? Did you know that people actually believed that they were turning into werewolves? Let's take another trip down the rabbit hole in search of the history of werewolves. Come down the rabbit hole with me. Okay, let's start with ergot. Ergot is a fungus. The scientific name, and I'm probably not going to say it right, but I'm going to do my best. Claviceps purpurea. It can grow on wheat, barley, rye, and oats. In France, in the 18th and 19th centuries, ergotism was also called St. Anthony's fire because of the burning sensation that it caused. It was called St. Anthony's fire and was also called devil's curse. And it caused delusions. Why so many of these delusions were of turning into a beast that eats children, I have no idea. But apparently they all had the same delusion. And people of a lower income ate rye because it was cheaper. So you had whole towns, if they were lower income towns, poor parts of towns, they were all eating this rye bread that had ergot on it. And they had no idea that they were ingesting a hallucinogen. So rye bread lasted longer, but then over the winter it would grow stale and it would grow the ergot and it would become poisonous. Ergotism is a pathological condition that is caused by the consumption of the ergot fungus. It was common back in the Middle Ages. It could cause twitching, spasms, altered mental states, hallucinations or delusions, sweating, and long-term fever. During medieval times in Eastern Europe, it was thought to be a supernatural illness. They didn't know they were accidentally ingesting a hallucinogenic substance. They had no idea. And you know how back in the day when people didn't understand science, they always made up some supernatural thing to explain it. So they had no idea that they were actually poisoning themselves. There's no treatment for ergotism. It's just to treat the symptoms and make them comfortable and don't eat any more rye that's infected with ergot. In most cases, people return to normal. In some cases, there were some permanent problems, but that was kind of rare. Ergot is the source of LSD. It was synthesized in 1938 by Albert Hofmann. He was trying to make a medication, but he got some on his skin while he was working, and he got dizzy, and he had to go home early that day. Oopsie. Then, when the CIA found out about it, they bought it all. All of it in the world. All of it that existed at the time, I think it was 1942, bought all in the world for $250,000 to use in the MK Ultra program. And if you haven't seen my video on MK Ultra, check it out because it is really, really interesting. It was a very deep rabbit hole. LSD is the most hallucinogenic substance in the world. And some people have reported beautiful visions even though they had horrible physical symptoms. Now, I don't care how pretty something looks. If I'm having those symptoms, I don't want to look at anything pretty. It doesn't, why? There are some legit medical reasons that could have made people believe that they're turning into a werewolf. Porphyria is a disease that results from a buildup of natural chemicals called porphyrins in the body. Now, these chemicals help create heme, and heme is found in hemoglobin, which is found in red blood cells. And red blood cells, the iron in the blood, is what carries the oxygen to the rest of the body. It causes sensitivity to light, reddish teeth, and psychosis. Another possible reason is a genetic syndrome called hypertrichosis, which causes excessive hair growth. Lycanthropy is a mental condition where the person believes themselves to be a werewolf. That can be caused by egotism, mushrooms, or folk concoctions, or mental illness. In the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries, there were werewolf trials that were driven by superstition, religious, and political clashes. It is said that over 30,000 people were convicted and killed, but in reality, it was far less than several hundred. Most of the people convicted were beggars, hermits, or recent immigrants to the area. And some of them were criminals, and a few confessed, but it's not clear if they even knew what they were confessing to. A few notable cases. In Jurgenberg, I don't know how to say that. Jurgenberg. In 1692, Thiess, Thiess, Thiess of Kaltenbrunn confessed to being a werewolf, but he was a good werewolf. He and other werewolves would go to hell 3 times a year to fight Satan's witches and demons. He was whipped and then released and banished from town. Most of these people that confessed were put to death, but they just banished him from the town because he was a good werewolf. Other punishments were as gruesome as the crimes. Now, this is bad, y'all, so warning. If you don't want to hear gross stuff. In Germany in 1589, Peter Stump was strapped to a cartwheel. His skin was removed with hot pincers. Then he was decapitated. And his head was put on a pole that had been carved into the shape of a wolf to remind others what happens to werewolves. In 1521, inquisitors were appointed by the Pope. 2 shepherds named Pierre Bugot, something like that, and Michel Verdun confessed to making a pact with the devil for food. A man in black showed up and gave them an ointment that turned them into werewolves. They also attended a midnight witch gatherings, and they were both burned at the stake. And it's also believed that the Salem witch trials over here in America were the result of convulsive ergotism. Ergot has been used as a medication. It's made into a headache medication called Cafragot. And another reason why I was so interested in this, I've always, like, my whole life, I don't know how I learned this, but I've known my whole life about ergot and that it caused, like, lycanthropy. I don't know, because I'm like a horror movie buff or something, maybe. I don't know, but I'm like, yes, lycanthropy is real. People ate poison bread. So I've kind of already known about this. But what I didn't realize is that LSD was made out of it, and it was made into a medication called Cafragot, and it was for headaches. And my mom took it when she was pregnant with me, and I am missing a muscle. I was born without one of the muscles in my body because of ergot. So I am a victim of ergot as well. Thank God it's not ergotism, though. I can't imagine, like, I think I would want to die. I don't think that they use Cafragot very much anymore, though, because of all the new modern headache medications and stuff that they have now. But back when I was not here yet, or here inside my mom, whatever, they gave them Cafragot for headaches. So, if you ever find yourself in a conversation about werewolves, you can drop some knowledge on your friends that lycanthropy was caused by a fungus called ergot that grew on bread. Aren't you glad that food manufacturing has made this obsolete? And people complain about processed foods. This is why. This is why it's processed, to get all the crap out. Okay, guys, this has been a really short one, but I did want to look at this, and I did tell you guys that I was going to do an episode on this. So that's my rabbit hole for today. Check out my other videos. I just uploaded one about the Green River Killer yesterday, and the one before that was about Edmund Kemper, the co-ed killer. So if you like Criminal Minds and you're interested in true crime, go ahead and subscribe, and then you will also get an occasional rabbit hole to go down. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.